Welcome to Entrepreneurs Are Leaders podcast with Harry Sardinas. Interviews with world's most influential entrepreneurs that share tips about how to grow your business exponentially. Charismatic speaking, leadership, branding, marketing strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And today we have an amazing topic to cover, and we have one of the greatest experts in this planet to share this insight with you. We're going to cover today the 5 steps how you can hire the right candidate for your business, for your company. And remember, the most important element in business is people. If you have the right people in your organization, can make a huge difference and take your business to a next level. So today we have one of the greatest experts in the world in this matter with a lot of years of experience. So Tina, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. That's a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, Harry. So I started out my career as an accountant, and then after many years, I decided to maybe try dabbling in recruiting. So then I specialized in finding jobs for just accountants. And my goodness, it makes me feel a little old, but it's going back almost 30 years now that I made that switch in career. Yes. And so I recruited for a large international recruiting firm at the time for 5 years. And then I decided to go out on my own and have a little bit more of a boutique feel. And I guess it's been almost 24 years now that I started that up. And we specialize strictly in finding jobs for accountants at all levels, from entry level up to CFO, including human resources and payroll and anything that touches accounting. We do that. I'm located in Vancouver, BC in Canada. But we have recruited for some companies that maybe like mining companies that have operations around the world. So we will do that. But we do a lot of recruiting for candidates that come from all over the world and want to come here in Vancouver to live. So we will help them come over here and find jobs in accounting as well.
Wow. So it's the whole package, right? So people actually can have from a 360 solution, right?
You betcha. Yeah, and we handle temporary, contract, permanent hires. You name it, we do it. As long as it touches accounting, we're here to help. Yes.
Excellent. Now let's talk about boutique, because I think that the most important thing in business is when we specialize in something. I think that we always say the riches is in the niches, right?
Yes.
And to design this process is a process that you have designed that it took you 24 years to learn of experience, right? And yes. What would be, Tina, the 5 steps that is the unique process that you find after all those years of experience that allow you to provide the right candidate, the perfect candidate for this accounting field? I think that in business, finance is one of the most strongest vertical. If you don't look your numbers and if you don't have the right people looking at your numbers, then it's very difficult to grow a business, because the valuation of the company and the profitability of the company lies into have the right people analyzing those numbers and help the CEO to guide them in what they have to be paying attention in order to the business to grow. Yeah. So if you can share with the audience what would be the first step that you guys do in your process to find the right candidate for your clients.
Oh, yes, of course. And, one thing that we do offer too, and it's free, is we offer our clients consultation all the time. So it could be, somebody that's maybe adding a new position to their company, or it could be they're replacing somebody. There's growth in a company, so maybe they need somebody at a higher level, whatever it might be. But we'll sit with them and we'll go over their organization chart and we'll look at the different positions and what might make sense in terms of salary, position, levels of, so it could be how many years of experience you're looking for, what sort of education. So the first step for anybody, whether it's for us as recruiters looking for our clients, but even for the people that are hiring out there and they're trying to figure out, okay, what do we need in this role? It would be to consult, a professional. And I would say, that would be where I would come in. It could be somebody that you, in your city that you feel comfortable with, a recruiter that you've often used. So sit down and go over exactly what it is you're looking for. And then from that point, you would look at the organization chart, look at the salaries for each individual in the department, because if you bring someone in at a higher salary, of course, word gets out. So you want to retain all your staff and keep everybody happy. So then we go through a job description. So let's talk about what are the key points? What are we looking for? What is the most technical thing you want this person to do? So from a job description, there's education, there's skills, but the most important aspect of hiring somebody is that culture fit. So, we can send many resumes that hit every aspect of your job description, but that fit is so key to the team and to maybe what you're trying to achieve, depending on the position. So it could be, maybe it's a manager. So they've got to have some great, strong management skills, good communication skills, that come with as well the education and the technical and everything else.
Let's expand a little bit more on this, because
yes.
I think that people, right, as an entrepreneur, this is a mistake that I had done personally myself, right? I think that when we are running a business, we think, oh, you know what? I'm going to hire the person myself rather than contact a specialist, right? And maybe, I don't know, I can save some money, or maybe, and I think that this is totally the wrong approach, because in my own experience, the most important element in business, people think that is that could be sales, could be this, could be the other one. But in my experience, the people in the organization is the most important factor to make the huge difference in the organization. And at the end of the day, if you not specialize in this recruiting process, the process can backfire. And when the process backfire, it's extremely expensive. From my own experience, you hire the wrong candidate, and then it's the wrong candidate. You start to train that person, and 6 months, 7, 8 months down the line, you realize that, oh my God, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
And you can talk about the losses are huge, because at the end of the day, you have to start all over again. So all this time, all this training, then the person go inside the organization, then why this person is out. So it creates, can actually affect the branding of the own organization.
Yes, the reputation of the company.
Sometimes that's why the specialists work, and that's why we have a specialist in those fields, because especially for this specific department, which is the accounting, and which is, I think, from all point of view, even if you're going to take your company to IPO and this is your goal, or you want to do a merger and acquisition, you have to have your company prepared from the financial point of view to reflect the results of your company, and the numbers have to make sense. And for that, you need the right people. So I agree 100% with you that the first step, if everyone that is listening and you want to hire an extension for the accountancy team, is to go and find a specialized recruiter in the industry. So that process, you can have the right people in your organization, and in the long term, you can save a lot of money. Make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And if I can just add a little bit more to that you touched on, it's also about the reputation of the company. And so sometimes the word gets out, well, oftentimes it will. And they could say, oh, there's so much turnover there. And it's hard to even attract the talent into this company if there is too much turnover or retention. And that's often looked at. Why is this position available? How long was the person in that last position before me? Why did they leave? That type of thing. So for sure, you can also use your recruiter to help market your company and explain, okay, this is what we're doing. The culture's changing. They're creating a more positive atmosphere, or whatever it might be that the reputation has out there. So it's also another avenue to use to really boost your reputation of your company.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's a branding exercise as well, and from the Wisconsin, for the marketing and the point of view on the branding of the company, right? If
I
you're
agree.
a company and you want to look serious out there, that you are an expert in your field, then from branding point of view, it look more stronger if you have a specialized recruiting agency working on your behalf, hiring the right candidate. Correct?
It's true. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and on that point as well, if I can expand, I think it's important too, depending on what type of role you're hiring for, is to use a recruiter that specializes in that field, because then they have a lot more knowledge. After many years, of course, they get to know the people and they can tap into the industry, but then they can often find people that aren't actively looking. They can find the best talent is just those people out there that, I think everybody's always open to hearing about a better opportunity. And that's where I come in, or people like me. And if we specialize in this industry, we just give them a call and we dangle a little carrot and we tell them about this fantastic opportunity and why it's so good for them and why they should maybe take a look at it. So that's where that would be my third point, is that try and use a specialized recruiter for the position that you're hiring.
Very good. And also that the companies out there, they spend a lot of capital, right, to try to attract talent. I think that from headhunters to in the industry, all company wants the best people working for them, right? And sometimes the process of attracting talent or to bring talent of your organization could be very difficult, because exactly what you said, the recruiter need to understand the culture of the company, has to understand the needs and problem that the company has, and what will be the ideal candidate. And so tell me about more about from the candidate perspective, right?
Yes.
What is the process that you follow to ensure that when you place candidates for an interview, they tick all the boxes, and therefore we're not gonna say that maybe the company it won't hire that person or not, but at least it will be the right candidate suitable for that position for the company to choose. Yeah.
Of course. And I'll tell you too, and to segue into that, I'm going to say there's cycles in this. So sometimes it's a candidate market and sometimes it's a client market. So which that means that there's a lack of candidates. So oftentimes what I say on the client side is we need to romance that candidate when we get them. And it's similar with the candidates too. So if there's an abundance of candidates that are looking for the same job, then it's the candidate that has to really romance the client. So it's almost like dating. Sometimes I think of recruiting as dating, and it's getting that right match. So again, going back to that culture fit, so we can go through the job description and education, and we can tick off the boxes and find people like that. But it's about a culture fit. And so what we do is of course, we place advertisements on our website, and we do all of that, but that's more for name brand recognition for my company. But the best candidates come from, I guess, what they call the old headhunting. But that's where I recruit. But, I have thousands of candidates in my database, but they're all over the years that I've built up, and I get to know the candidates, and they're not actively looking. They are people that I have in mind. I touch base with sometimes. They could be clients as well. Oftentimes they are. And I'll just say, hey, I think, we were talking 6 months ago, and you had mentioned that maybe you might be looking for this, or you wanted something that was maybe a little closer to home. And of course, with COVID brings on a whole, or maybe you want remote or whatever it might be. And so then we meet, we have a coffee, we talk about the role. So it's a little bit more about a conversation. It's not really about having a job interview and it's cold. It's more of a friendship. And then we create that, okay, let's take a look at it. And then what I do is I present them to my client, and it's the same sort of feel. It's more of a setup, maybe a meeting, but it's more of a coffee meeting. Like, it's not too strict. It's more of a, let's see if there's a good fit here for us, because already determined, of course they can do the job, but it's about the fit. And I think that's the key, is really you want to make sure that you hire the right fit for the role that you're looking for. So when the candidate goes in, on the flip side, on the client side, I'm making sure that they're adding value to that candidate's next position. There's got to be a reason that they would leave this job that they're happy in. So it could be salary, it could be more weeks vacation, it could be whatever it might be.
It could be learning more.
Oh, totally. It could be going from a private company to a public company, a different industry that's more desirable. Or balance and lifestyle. Some people want a little, like, they're working in public and they're like, oh my God, I'm dying here. I need private company where I can, work only 40 hours a week versus 80, something like that. So that's the first, I'm talking about romancing the candidates. So that is how we attract some good candidates that way. So I think and then it goes further as to, when an offer goes out and once they're hired as well, to retain them as well.
So one question, because after COVID now we have a huge new scenario where a lot of people, especially in this industry, can actually work remote from home. So now the companies today can have roles that even sometimes could be part-time or even 100% could be those candidates can be remote, and that open the whole situation that you can have. Now you have a candidate that you can find non local, you can find even global, and with so then you can say that now you have in this specific industry, could be depend on the position, that you have the whole world to find the right candidate for your organization. So how, in your view, the remote positions versus in office, do you think that now in this industry is like 50-50, or still the companies needs the accountant and the finance people in-house at least 2 times a week, or there is possible that and the other thing is the following, that even if this candidate is going to work remote, and let's suppose that is in India and the company, let's say, that is in Canada, do they have the right to work, or there is a process that has to be taken in place in order that even if the candidate is going to be remote,
Right.
and who can facilitate that process. Because at the end of the
Right.
day, we want the best candidate
Yep.
for the position, and if it's remote,
Right.
it doesn't matter. You want the best person, and the best person could be in Australia, could be in India, could be, you name it,
Mm-hmm.
and how this the paperwork and the compliance, how this is work.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, during COVID, of course, it was 100% remote and with
Wow.
anything that we did. Um, but what we're finding now, it's very hard to attract talent because they're insisting on at least hybrid. And a lot of the companies are now pushing that you have to go back to the office 100%. And the pushback
We
is
have the
because
same situation here in United Kingdom.
in the UK, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really becoming a problem. That's why there is a lack of candidates right now, because they're just saying, no, forget it. I don't want to go in the office every day. The reason is they're saying, I can see that it works. I can see that I can get the same job done, even in a hybrid. They're at minimum, they'll go maybe 3 days in the office, but no more. So, we're finding that very frustrating ourselves to find candidates that will go in 5 days a week. And then we're trying to educate our clients that we can't attract talent unless you're flexible a little bit, even maybe 1 day a week from home. So I think what happened was a lot of people took their children out of daycare, or they got rid of that second car. They, my goodness, even they talk about the 1 hour commute to downtown Vancouver from wherever they might live.
Wow.
There's all kinds of factors that come into play. For sure, the flexibility is the biggest factor. But also I'm hearing from the employees that, they got more done by working from home. They might like throw a load of laundry, but then they would work all night, or, they would pick up the kids from school. They saved money on daycare, but then they were able to come back and still get more work done. They would just work later. They would meet all the deadlines. So, to answer that question, I feel like it is getting pushed back to 5 days a week in the office, and it will continue to be pushed that even if candidates are saying, no, I need to have hybrid. What will happen eventually, I think, is those candidates will be pushed out of the market, and they may be out of a job if they don't flex a little bit more.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
as employer, we have to be more flexible, right? This is
Yeah.
speaking with my own experience.
Yeah.
All our team works remotely, right?
Yeah.
We have team working, IT directors, software developers, graphic designers, video editing. So we have large part of the people that work for us. They work 100% remotely. But even as employee, what I learned, right, is this topic that you're talking about, flexibility.
Yeah.
I have been learning after COVID, right? At the beginning, you said, you know what, is 9 to 5, or this is the time for work. And it's like in a normal office, you have to check in, you have to check out, you have to perform, right? And
Yes.
now to our employees, we have opening the window, right?
Yeah.
We taught them to work from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and they can choose
Yeah.
in that time frame
Yeah.
when they want to work. So it's no ideal for us, but we have to do a little bit. We have to expand the flexibility if we want to retain
Yes.
the talent, right? So
That's right.
we have to compromise something that maybe it put a little bit of input for us, because now we have to be more time around supervising them, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, hiding the talent and keeping the talent is key in the organizations. And I think as employers, if we want to have that talent and to retain that talent, we have to be more flexible. This is how we have evolved after COVID with our employees, right? We had to compromise because we were in the position that if we are demanding the same time like we were doing before COVID, we realize we're going to lose them, right? Because other companies are flexible.
If other companies
are giving that flexibility, so now they're in the position like, well, we love to work with you, but everybody out there is giving us more freedom, and so we have to compromise. So yeah, but also, what I want to ask you is like, for example, let's suppose that the company is located in Canada, right?
Yes.
But let's say you find the right candidate, but it's in India.
Yes.
And the candidate is willing to fly there and to live there in Canada.
Yes.
What happened? He's happy to work from office.
Yeah.
Now he lives in India.
He wants to come to Canada.
He wants to go, and the candidate is the idea. So then what happened?
Well, they have to get their own, it's called a work visa. They have to apply for it. Each country has their own system, and it goes on points, you see. So it depends on if there's a lack of talent. So if it's an accountant, for example, are we short of accountants in Canada? It's points. It depends how much money they have. It's all, do they have family? So the only thing that we could do potentially is have a client give them a job offer and sponsor them, which helps with their point system. But really, it's on them to get the process. If they really want to move to Canada, they have to start with it's a work visa to start. It's like a work permit, usually 1 to 3 years, could be 5, up to 5. After that, then you apply for residence. So, but that is not something that we can do. It has to come from them if they want to do it. Or the employer could also potentially help, but very rare that an employer will do it unless this is like the best candidate out there. They're stellar. I have had it happen. I've had quite a few people in New York get hired, and they've been given work visas to work in the U.S. from Canada. But it is very rare that they'll do that because it's a lot of red tape. It costs money, and so they'd rather look at who's local and in there where they are.
Here in UK, we have exactly because they want to attract talent, and they look in all the avenues. Here in UK, we have the companies can have something that called sponsor visa, right?
Yeah,
so the companies can have a license, right? Actually, when we went to our gala, the lawyer that participated in our gala, he specialized in that, right? So if somebody wants to, if any company wants to hire bring someone from India or from whatever, right?
Yes.
Then that company can have a license, right? Which is a process. It's not expensive, and every company in UK can have that license, right?
Okay.
Granted, you have to apply, obviously, and it's a legal process, not expensive. But once you have this license, you are allowed to bring the candidates from abroad. Here in UK, you have to employ it for 5 years minimum, right? That's a commitment.
Yes.
So if the company is happy with the candidates and commit to employ the candidate for 5 years, then actually can come and work. So do you have something similar there in Canada, or actually it goes for another channel? It's not the company. The company doesn't have license to bring the people from abroad, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
So companies don't have license, so they have to go for the standard channels. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So it's harder here for sure.
However, I studied in the university in Cuba, in Havana, and most of the people from my class, I got a degree in chemical engineer, most of the people from my class, they actually work in Canada and live in Canada.
Yes. So they used to
from
have,
Cuba, they went there because the
yeah.
companies facilitate that process. They work basically in the industry in the metals, separating metals from the metals.
I
For
understand.
example, gold and things like that.
Yes,
Engineers,
in the
so
mining.
the mining. I think that Canada have a strong mining
That's right.
industry.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So could
So
be
they
maybe
need
the
them.
sectors, that some sectors have some facilities to bring people from abroad rather than the other ones.
Well, that's true. And another way that you can come in and work if you want is through a student visa. So up until just recently, you could work full time on a student visa, but now they've just changed the laws, and now it's 20 hours a week. So that's another way of getting in if you want to take a course, register through a school. So, there's different ways that you can get around the system, I suppose.
In order to attract the right talent, yeah?
Yes.
So let's talk about the interviews. What are the key points that when you are interviewing a candidate, right? We know that already you study the culture of the company, you already know your client, what type of candidate they are looking for, and you already did the study on the company. So what are the key elements that you guys follow in terms of have that conversation with the candidates? What is the process, or what are the key questions that the candidates can overcome, right? In order for you to give you a sign, oh, this is the right fit for this.
Right. Yeah. Well, it totally depends on the position. And of course, because I'm an accountant, I am able to ask some technical questions.
Very good.
So when I do meet with them, I think it's about making them feel comfortable. I don't want anyone to ever feel, because I think that's when you can get more out of somebody, is if you have a friendly conversation. And that's how I like it to always feel on both sides. And I try to educate that should be the way when they finally meet, that it should be more of a conversation. So think of it like that and don't be nervous. But what we will do is once we feel comfortable, then we talk about, okay, so where are you at today? Tell me more about your position. Let's get into the technical. And so, we dive into that. And then, I like to talk about, something that they feel really proud about that they've done in their last position and why. I like to talk about what would they dream? What is their wish? And everybody has a dream. And when you can get into that, that's when you can find out, okay, so I'm looking at you for this role, but is this really the right fit? Because oftentimes before I meet someone, they'll say, do you have a job for me? And I'm like, I don't know until we meet. It's so hard for me to know. Yeah, we need to talk. And it might be this position because they may be, maybe I called them and said, this is the role, but it might be something else I have. Or it might be something that comes in 2 weeks down the road. And then I remember them and I go, oh, I remember Sally. She would be perfect for this, and then I'll call her up. So it's more about just really having that comfort, and that open and honest communication is key. And to just find out, what is the dream for you now, 5 years from now, and who knows from there. So that's how I do it anyway.
Yeah, find out. And people think that is always the candidates are looking for money. And in our own experience, we find out that this is not the case. We have
totally
our own employees, right? If they go somewhere else, guarantee they're gonna get paid more because they have done. They have a huge profile because they have been working with us. They have been done all our videos and everything with high quality. So all our employees have an amazing portfolio.
Wow,
outstanding, right? So we know that they can actually find another job and get more money. We
Sure.
know that. However, they stay because they like to work with us.
Yes.
They get something here that they don't get somewhere else, which is they learn a lot. We treat them with love. They're always learning. We're always teaching them good things. I think that also they are very happy, for example, with the Global Coaches Entrepreneur and the Gala. They work with your videos. They know you more than you know yourself, right? They know your name, your surname, what you do, and we're doing Tina's videos. So they are, and they know that they are doing something for amazing people, and that also inspire them in their own way. So I think that in my own experience with the employees, right, I think if you always teaching them something and they creating something amazing and they can see progression, right? Then obviously money is a very important factor of the equation, but it's not always the key thing. I think that when we interview people and we can see that they are money driven, right? There is something there, because it's like you said, you need to find the why they actually they want to join the organization.
Yes,
because they want
you
to
are
learn,
correct.
because they want growth, because they want experience, because they want to be sometimes even we can say significance. They're proud to say we work for speakers and leaders, right? So
That's right.
I'm the IT director for speakers and leaders, right? So maybe that is worth more that the significance and the what they share. Wow, that's what you do. Wow, this amazing company. Look the website. Look this thing.
Yeah.
And you create this wow effect. So I think that having the relationship and treat them nicely. I have been a roller coaster over the years. We employ a lot of people, and we realized that the end is exactly agree with you. What they want, and make sure that we can serve that need, right? I think that this is key. And so then another question is the onboarding, right?
Yes.
So sometimes people are looking for work, right? And they want to be placed immediately, and the onboarding process takes time, right? So how we navigate with the candidates and with the company to make sure that the onboarding process meet both criteria, the client needs, also the company needs.
Oh, for sure. And that is all part of that. It doesn't just stop when the job offer's gone out and it's accepted, because you want to keep that relationship. You want to be excited. You're coming on board. I'll tell you, over my years, I've had where candidates have ended up pulling out because they got romanced in between, say, that 1 month. Or it could be a counter offer. It could be anything that comes up. So you want to keep in touch. You want to, okay, so you're starting in 3 weeks. We've got your email address coming. We've got this coming. So whatever it might be, let's meet for a coffee. We'll go over whatever it might be. So keep in touch with them for sure. Oftentimes, a candidate, it depends on the level. They may have to give 1 month's notice, 2 months, or sometimes 2 weeks. Just depends. Or it could be on the other side. You're not ready for them yet. You have IT having to set up a new computer for whatever that might be. But make sure that time in between that you're still keeping in touch, because that's where you can sometimes lose them. So yeah, for sure. And then of course, when they're on board, you want to keep in touch and make sure they feel comfortable. Take them for lunch on their first day, whatever that might be, but and how that feels. Check in with them. Make sure they're getting the right mentoring, training. They're set up properly. IT, their systems are all set up properly. And then once they're on board, and then just keep maintaining that harmony.
Yeah, I think that the first week, that because it's like you said, it's like dating, it's like marriage, right? So at the first week that the new candidate arrives to the organization, right? If there are processes and systems in place in that organization to train them, to give them the right structure, so they can facilitate I always said that first impressions, they are key, right? And
Yes.
we have to say that the biggest winner here is the organization, right?
Yes.
The employer, because the more flexible you are, the more time and effort you put in that onboarding process, the more you will be able to keep talent and retain talent, which is the key of the organization.
You bet.
The finance all over 360. So if so do you advise the companies about the onboarding process? Do you give them consultancy? Do you share with them why it's important this process? Because at the end of the day, the biggest winner here is always the organization, because you are keeping the talent.
Oh, for sure. And it's also something where I can step in, and I call it checking under the hood. So it could be, that's where I can call the candidate and say, just checking in. I want to make sure everything's going okay. They may feel more comfortable telling me, well, what, I didn't like this, or maybe this. So then I can quickly call the client and say, hey, I don't know if you realize this, but blah, blah, blah. Or they'll say, I love it. And then I call the client. I say, make sure you tell them that you love them. Because everybody wants positive feedback, Course. It doesn't matter what level you're at. So you want that. And I also, when we do place them too, we have on my website, I've got some blogs that I've written, and in there it can remind you different steps to take once you've hired your candidate as well.
Wow, fantastic. So Dina, so if people are already looking for this key candidate in their organization.
Yes.
And they need an expert like you to take care of all this process to make sure that the right candidate land in the right opportunity, and that marriage lasts long and is productive for the employer as well for the employee. So how everybody that is listening, how they can reach you, how they can get in contact with you, how they can access, and how the process works?
Oh, sure. So my website is burkerecruiting.com, and on there I have some blogs, like I mentioned earlier. You can contact me via my website, and then it's linked into my email addresses, of course. I also have a newsletter that goes out, and I have one for candidates and one for clients once a month. And so if you want to get on to our mailing list, please contact me to get that. We can set you up on the email newsletter. We just started TikTok, where I give tips on so I've been combining my feng shui expertise, so through my training, with helping people with interview tips, or helping set up offices with the clients. Different feng shui tips. They're just quick videos that can give you some insights. So that's on TikTok. I have Instagram. I have Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a huge following there. So we have it under my name, Tina Burke, and also under Burke Recruiting. But you can find me anywhere under Tina Burke or Burke Recruiting.
And then, but not only the companies that want to find the right candidate, but also those candidates out there that they are looking for this perfect job, for this amazing opportunity that will make a huge difference in their life. and they feel that they can do more, they feel that they can learn more, they feel that they have something else to add value, right? I think that so these also those candidates that are looking for a change, they're looking for a progression in their life, that they also can contact you to see if there is something that matches their needs, correct?
You bet. Anytime. And even if it's not for something right now, who knows? It could be 1 month, 6 months, a year down the road, and we can be helpful. But it's just to reach out and even have a talk. Yeah.
Reach out and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And we will explore your why, right?
Yes, exactly. It's easy. And I won't bite.
Fantastic. So thank you so much. Have been this amazing talk. 5 steps how to find the right candidate for your organization. So please, we're gonna write in the comments or the contacts for Tina. And if you guys listening here want to find the right candidate for the right position in your organization, or if you are at home and you feel that you want to do more and you want to have a new career experience, please reach out, have a chat, and then maybe the magic and your dreams can come true. On that note, we're gonna end our podcast. Thank you so much, Tina, for your wisdom to share with our audience, and we stay in touch. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Bye.
Follow us for more on charismatic speaking, leadership, exponential business growth, branding, marketing, strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.